How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish. Today I am not in Florida, as you can see by my hat and the weather and the fact that you can see my breath. But today is awesome because I will be testing out the brand new Ford Focus RS. So a few things to know about this car. First of all, Ford asked me to come out to this event. We are in Mécaglis. It is a motorsports park in Quebec. And what I'm gonna do today is do a little bit of a test drive of a 2017 Ford Focus RS. Now, this is basically a rally car for the road. It is a 2.3 liter, 4-cylinder, turbocharged, has 350 horsepower, 350 foot-pounds of torque. Now, there have been plenty of reviews on this car, but I've never driven it, and I think that you guys will get a treat out of me driving this thing. I will be taking this car on a track, and that's gonna be for a video for Jalopnik. But right now, all I'm gonna do is take this down a nice mountain road. My lips are basically frozen right now, but I'm gonna take this down a nice mountain road and see what she can do. All right, guys, so this is awesome. I have a brand new Focus RS that Ford gave me, and I am in a winter wonderland in Canada. It looks like the streets are covered in cocaine. It might as well be, because this thing is, this car is having just as much fun as I am. Now, we are leaving a sports motor park called Mécaglis here in Quebec. And we are gonna go for a nice mountain road run. I do apologize for any shakiness. My mount is holding on for dear life. But wow, this is awesome. Hopefully you guys can see this road. There are some pockmarked elements here. There are a lot of potholes. It does snow a lot here, and there is salt on the roads. But as soon as we get out into open road, I really want to let this thing, well, I'm not gonna say let it rip, but let's open it up just a little bit. So for those of you who aren't familiar with this awesome car, this is a Ford Focus RS. It has a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder with a turbocharger. This is a derivative of the EcoBoost Mustang engine, and also that's a derivative of the old Mazda Speed 6 engine. So they're kind of in the same family. This makes 350 horsepower and 350 foot-pounds of torque, which is an insane amount for a 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. Even if it has a big turbo like this one. Actually, I don't think this has quite that big of a turbo. I think it's just that they use a lot of trickery, like variable vane geometry and stuff like that. But don't quote me on that. I might be wrong on that. I did kind of sleep through that part of the presentation. What I didn't sleep through, though, is that this car has multiple drive modes. It has torque vectoring. It is an all-wheel drive car. So what you can do is you can put it into drift mode, which means the back end can come out. You can put it into track mode, which means that the traction control is turned off. It gives you a little bit of slip, but there's still some stability control. And it has just a normal driving mode. So if you want to be like a Ford Focus, like a regular Ford Focus with most of the power going to the front wheels, like as a daily driver, you can definitely do that. And yeah, it is actually a good daily driver. There's not a ton of room here for 5 adults, but there is enough room for 2 adults and 2.3 children. So I think that's a good compromise. It is a hot hatched small car, but it is directly in competition with something like the Subaru WRX STI, despite this having about 60 horsepower more, or about 50 horsepower more. Actually, I should stop talking out of my ass. I actually don't know how much a brand new STI has as far as horsepower, but this has more. So for me, actually going into drift mode and going around a snow course at Mécaglis, you can go to jalopnik.com, but right now we're just doing some road driving, and that's something that, you know, you've probably seen on other channels, but it's something brand new to me, and I really want to share it with you guys. So I'm excited. All right, so this is Route 125, I believe, and we're making a right, and then let's see if it just snowed yesterday, and it is a it just snowed yesterday, and it is freezing. It's below freezing. It's negative 10 degrees Celsius, which is in Fahrenheit probably negative a million, like your nipples would be on fire from how cold they are. That's how cold it is here, and it's still snowing just a little bit. It did snow quite a bit last night, so this is perfect rally weather, really, for this sort of car. This is a rally bred car. This is something that you can take to a rallycross event. This is something that you can take down a mountain road like I'm about to do, and really kind of get that rally experience without having to shell out money for actually being in a rally team. So that is just freaking awesome. That exhaust note is so good. It sounds almost like, it is a 4-cylinder, but it sounds like half a Mercedes AMG GT. It really does. Ooh, there's a nice little crackle from the exhaust when you do a downshift. The back end slides out just a little bit on these icy surfaces, and it is an icy surface. I have winter tires on, and they might be ripping up the road, but they're giving me so much grip. So I kind of wish that I was the first in line, because then that means I'm setting the pace. Automotive journalists usually aren't really good pace setters because they either go way too fast or way too slow. And here, I think they're a little bit more on the slow side, which is probably good considering I don't know the road. But if you want to have fun, oh my god, that crackle is so good. If you want to have fun, this, I don't know, I think you want to go a little bit faster. The car is maybe at 5% of what it can do. Ooh, that's nice. So I don't know if you can see by the video, I don't have any B-roll outside, just because it's just me on this press trip. But the back end is sliding out as I'm going over these slushy corners. Oh, good car, good car. So right in front of me, the differences between this and a regular Ford Focus, you have this awesome triple gauge pod, and I have my oil temperature, I have my oil pressure, and I have my boost pressure, which right now is nothing, but if I put it into second and then stomp on it, it can go up to 2 bar, but it gets I don't think it gets up to 2 bar. 2 bar would be like 20 something, 26 psi or 28 psi actually. So I don't think it gets up that high, but it gets up pretty high, and that's just enough for me. Now, what a lot of people do with these cars specifically is they tune them with exhausts, and they give them just sort of upgrades into the ECU. And I think that this car would really do well with an ECU upgrade. I'm not gonna say it's slow, it's definitely not slow. This actually feels faster than my Aston Martin. The gears are shorter and it feels more alive, especially on this road where I'm kind of slipping and sliding about. My Aston would have hit a tree by now. So another thing about this car is the brakes. So the brakes are 4-piston Brembo brakes, and they're regular steel brakes, but on a car of this price, it's around 36 grand. You really don't get this kind of performance. I mean, you get something like this on an STI, but it shouldn't be able to do the things it does. I'm not going to say it's like a mini GTR, because a lot of people say that about the Evo, but it does have a knack of defying the laws of physics. Now, a lot of this is due to the tires, but I think most of it is due to the torque vectoring of the differential, the tuning of the ECU, the way the front and rear bias happens, and also this awesome crackle. It's just farting and popping, and it's so great. I'm in a loud sky blue Ford Focus making a ton of noise down this Quebecois path in the mountains. The awesome view in front of me. Can you guys see that? The awesome view in front of me. There's mist on the mountains. To paraphrase Mike Finnegan, this is the best day at work ever. So you'll notice that the signs here are all in French, and for those of you who don't know, Quebec, the official language, it has 2 official languages. One is English, one is French. And here it's more French-speaking people, and everything, all the signs are in French. You order food in French, and hopefully their lax speed laws are in French as well. Oh wow. So the all-wheel drive really, you can wash off any oversteer, any tank slapper with the all-wheel drive. So what the system does is it senses the slip from the rear, and it basically washes that off with some controllable front end grip. For any of you that want to know what this awesome road is in Quebec, it's called the Chemin Saint-Côme. I think I'm saying that right. So you can give it just a little bit. Oh, that's so awesome. You can give it just a little bit of bootful. Oh, wow. So even on the upshift, it gives you this awesome backfire. How do they make cars this good? So there's a corner coming up. It's an on-camber corner. This is insanely easy to drift. The fact that you can get more than 400 horsepower out of this with a tune, that boggles my mind. I mean, in the 90s, you'd be if you had 400 horsepower out of anything, it'd probably be some V12, and even that was unreliable. But this is, you can use this daily. Okay, there we go. So the idea was with this drive, I was supposed to have one of the Ford representatives sit with me, and that didn't turn out like it was supposed to. And I think that's better, because I don't think they would be approving of what I'm doing with their car here. So in a lot of cars, the traction control system, it feels like it just kind of stifles you. It cuts the engine out. It's very abrupt. Here, it lets you play a little bit. It spools up the turbo just enough. It makes you feel, it doesn't feel like it's holding you back. It doesn't feel like, you know, one of these, you know, like it's holding you back. It feels like that. Still with you, but you know that you're safe. You know that you're not going to end up in a tree over there. And hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. So if you have a mountain road in front of you, here's how you drift a Ford Focus RS. Point it in the direction you want to go, put it in second, mash the throttle. Give it a little bit of opposite lock and you are golden. This isn't even drift mode. This is regular mode. This is normal. Normal people are supposed to be doing this. All you have to do is point the front wheels in the direction you want to go, and the back end is just controlled by the throttle. That's all you have to do. Now my traction control light is going crazy, but you know, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I wouldn't dare turn it off because I'm not that good of a driver that I can control this car. But this car is making me feel more confident in my driving abilities. It's giving me that extra little oomph to say, hey, maybe you can push it just a little bit harder, like this. Woo! I'm in Canadian Initial D. One of the best things about this car isn't the low-speed cornering. It is the long, swooping bends that really get this car really make it come alive. And it sounds awesome. Right after 4,500 RPM, you can hear a distinct turbo whistle. It's not even a whistle. It's like if you take the spigot off an air compressor and it just oh my God. Oh, water hazard. The thing about this car is that speed isn't something to be afraid of. It's just a variable in how this car handles. It knows that it has to get you to the other end of the corner, but speed is just one of the things that it has to calculate in order to get you there. And it is very, very good at math. So I have it in third right now, and I'm going to mash the throttle, and instantly there's a burst of torque. It doesn't feel cammy or peaky. This is a lagless turbo. This has zero lag, mainly because the exhaust housing is pretty small, but it can deliver a ton of boost. And the engine has direct injection, which means that it can tune itself pretty damn lean, and it can make sure that 100%, or as close to 100% of the burn in the cylinder is used as possible. So this is not the 90s hot hatch that needs a lot of modding to make it good. This is good out of the box. You can forget Evos. You can forget STIs. This is better. So there's a right-hander coming up full of ice and a nice layer of snow. Going around 80 kilometers an hour, put in second. All right, concentrate. Point and squirt. These sweeping corners are just endless. Why doesn't every road have ice on it? Now, what the torque vectoring system is doing right now when I mash the throttle on a turn is it's calculating hundreds, if not thousands of times a second how much slip each rear wheel is getting. And then it gives me just enough grip so I can wash it off. And I can perform these amazing power slides without getting into a tank slapper. Give it a nice flick of opposite lock. Oh man. At the risk of sounding cheesy, this car turns Danny Tanner into Tanner Faust. So I think that's going to be it for today's video. This was probably a short one, but I had a blast. Now, I'm not doing any builds on this car, obviously. It's not mine. It's Ford sent me out here. So if you want to see me drive this car on a track with drift mode engaged with a driving instructor, you can head on over to jalopnik.com. Make sure to subscribe to them. You'll see more of my stuff over there as I do some more of this traveling and car adventure. But this behind the scenes stuff, this is just a regular drive in this car, and I'm glad to share it with you. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe. More than 30,000 people. Guys, that's a ton of people, and I'm so proud to have all of you guys like and share my stuff. Make sure you hit that bell to get notifications as soon as I get them out. So I'm going to keep enjoying this awesome Canadian driving road. But stay tuned, because next time, that's when I take this